In the shadow of the old lighthouse at Cape Hallow, the Lantern Keeper's code is law, a set of rules etched into the cliffside for those who dare to walk its perilous trails during the October tide. Jenna, a young photographer drawn to the haunted histories of the coast, decides to capture the eerie beauty of the lighthouse at midnight. But first, she must heed the code. The code. 1. Keep your lantern lit, darkness invites the lost souls. 2. Follow the north path, deviation awakens the sleeping shadows. 3. Speak not to the whispers, they will lead you astray. 4. Leave by first light, or never leave at all. Jenna arrives as the sky dips into twilight, her lantern casting a warm glow against the gathering fog. The lighthouse looms above, its beacon long extinguished, a silent sentinel to the forgotten tragedies of the sea. With her camera and the list of rules folded in her pocket, Jenna begins her trek. The path is rugged, lined with jagged rocks that jut out like the spines of a monstrous back. She keeps her lantern high, warding off the creeping cold that tries to quench its light. As she rounds a bend, the whispers start, soft murmurs riding the coastal wind, beckoning her to stray from the path. Jenna clenches her teeth, remembering the third rule. She quickens her pace, focusing only on the rhythmic sound of her footsteps and the safe circle of light around her. The north path forks, leading towards the cliffs where the true north lies. Ignoring a sudden urge to explore the unmarked trail, Jenna sticks to the known route, her heart pounding as she feels eyes watching from the darkness. At the cliff's edge, with the ocean churning below, Jenna sets up her camera, capturing the ghostly image of the lighthouse against the stark moonlight. As she packs to leave, the whispers intensify, now pleading, now threatening. Jenna recites the rules like a mantra, her voice steady but her hands trembling. With the first pale streaks of dawn, Jenna retraces her steps, her lantern's light dimming. She stumbles, fatigue and fear weighting her limbs, but the first light of day strengthens her resolve. As she exits the path, the sun bursts over the horizon, the whispers falling silent. Back in her car, Jenna unfolds the list of rules, her blood turning cold as she notices a fifth rule scribbled in shaky writing at the bottom of the page. 5. Never return the same way, the path remembers your fears. Jenna shivers, realizing her escape at dawn might not have been an escape at all. As she drives away, she glances in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something, or someone, following her out of the mist. Jenna's escape from the cliffs felt like a flight from a nightmare, her heart hammering as the landscape of Cape Hallow receded in her rearview mirror. But the terror of that night was not content to be left behind, it clung to her like the mist that swirled in her wake. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, Jenna reviewed her photographs once more at a roadside motel, seeking clues in the ghostly images. The figure she had glimpsed earlier was not just a trick of light and shadow, it was there, unmistakably humanoid and eerily still. Each photo showed it closer to her, its outline more defined, its posture ominously poised as if caught mid-step, advancing towards her. Sleep eluded Jenna that night, her mind spinning with the implications of the shadowy figure's presence. When dawn broke, she decided to return to the lighthouse, driven by a desperate need for answers and armed with a sinking suspicion that the fifth rule of the code was more than a mere warning, it was a curse. The morning air was unnaturally cold as she approached the lighthouse. The path, so familiar yet now fraught with dread, seemed to pulsate with a malevolent energy. Ignoring the primal urge to flee, Jenna pressed on, her lantern casting quivering shadows that danced menacingly around her. As she reached the cliff where she had taken her last photograph, a thick fog descended, enveloping her in a suffocating embrace. The whispers were there again, louder than before, not just in the wind but in her head. Turn back, they hissed, leave, or be left forever. Jenna's resolve faltered, but as she turned to retreat, she felt a cold hand grip her shoulder, spinning her around. Before her stood the figure from her photos, its face a ghastly void of darkness except for two gleaming eyes that burned with malevolence. "You've broken the code," it rasped, a voice like the grinding of stone on stone. The path is not to be tread lightly, and the rules are not mere suggestions. You were warned, Jenna. Paralyzed with fear, Jenna could only watch as the figure raised a hand to point back towards the lighthouse. Following its command, she turned to see dozens of ghostly figures emerging from the fog, each holding a dim lantern. They were the lost souls, trapped by the code, bound to this cursed land, and now, so was she. The figure's grip tightened, and Jenna felt an icy chill seep into her bones. You are one of us now, a keeper of the lantern. You will walk the path, and you will enforce the code, it declared. As the realization of her fate sank in, Jenna's last human emotion was extinguished, just like the flame in her lantern. From that moment on, she was bound to the cliffside, another shadow among many, eternally walking the perilous trails, ensuring that all who came after would heed the Lantern Keeper's code, or join them in their spectral ranks. As the fog finally lifted, Jenna's camera lay forgotten on the rocky path, the last image it captured showing her own terrified face as she looked upon her grim new reality.